Eyes of Wakanda, I feel like we had very low expectations for. It was almost kind of shadow release with almost zero marketing. But honestly, I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than I expected. And there were some very surprising twists that I didn't expect, especially in episode 4.
Episode 1 started off as most episodes for these kind of shows starts. You know, it was a little slow for me. I wasn't that invested in the story. The animation, what I did like is the animation. I'm a big fan of gorgeous animation. And I have to say, this animation just is really, really good. For a long time, you know, DC was at the top of animation, and Marvel would put out a couple of animated projects, but they would be okay at best. And, you know, we all know that Marvel was kicking DC's ass at the box office. But now it seems that Marvel is also trying to pay attention to their animated stuff, because this animation is great, man. It's just, the music is good. I mean, it wasn't great for me, but it's not, that doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, I'm captivated by the artwork and the animation style. I just think is just top notch.
Yeah, and I love how Marvel's keeping to their word with each of their animated series having unique animation styles, and they keep that up for Eyes of Wakanda.
Very true.
For episode 1 in particular, I think this one may actually be my favorite out of the 4. I really, in particularly, liked seeing the Lion, the villain of this episode, and how his villain arc and going against the creed of Wakanda with how he just wants to explore the outside world, and that's very much taboo, and it really was taboo until like more of the modern era that we saw in the MCU. And I really enjoyed that. I loved watching all these ancient cultures. I liked how for the Lion, he gathered pretty much everyone from every ancient culture on, I guess, the Eastern Hemisphere. And I thought that was so well done. And one thing that I also think was extremely well done for this was the action. I think the choreography for the fight scenes was really well done, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the main character in this one, and frankly, I had a good time. This was a really strong start. But for episode 2, honestly, I started to really enjoy this episode towards the end. But at the start, I wasn't a huge fan of it. This was all about like the Trojan Wars with the Greek versus Troy, all for Helen of Troy. I feel like you guys know the story. But of course, now we have the added impact of Wakanda, as this entire show is how Wakanda has kind of been in the world since ancient times to modern day. The standout to me for sure was Achilles and the main character Memnon. I really liked their dynamic, especially towards the end, and I found that to be a bit heartbreaking, as it was very much brother versus brother. And although we didn't have as much time with these characters as we would in a movie, you could still feel the brotherly bond, and I liked seeing that play out. And as Edward said, the visuals were amazing in it, the emotions were so high.
You know what? It's funny that the previous episode was Griffin's favorite episode, and this one's my favorite episode of the 4. Yeah. I am a sucker for historical stuff, and yes, the Trojan War may or may not have happened. It's, you know, it's Homer's poem, etc., etc. But I like Achilles, and I liked him being paired up with, you know, our character, and I like that brotherly but rivalry. I'm a sucker for those type of stories, and you know, the animation just is, again, I know I mentioned in episode 1, but the animation just is really good, and I had no idea that we were going to go this route with Eyes of Wakanda. This really is, as Griff says, and I'm sorry to echo him, but it really is Wakanda throughout the ages in our planet. So it's cool to see that they've been around, and that they've, because I always thought of Wakanda based on the MCU, based, you know, just on, they've been isolated. They've had nothing to do with us. And so to see an episode like this where they're, you know, interacting with, you know, Achilles, the Trojan War, Agamemnon, and stuff like that, I was very entertained. It's funny that this is the episode that Griffin least likes.
No. It's not the one I least like at all. No.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is
but it's definitely
favorite.
the one that it's definitely the one that caught my eye the most and that kept me the most entertained. I had great fun with this episode.
You know, it was just a little bit slow for me to start. That was my only issue with it.
Oh yeah, no, it is slow, but when it's slow, when it's good slow, I'm great.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we get that slow with no purpose sometimes, and that's when I'm ready to bounce. But
yeah, this had such a good payoff. This is a great payoff.
The next episode, you know, I didn't dislike this one. I just didn't like it as much as the previous one.
Yeah.
But it's got Iron Fist in it, and I knew we were getting Iron Fist when I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer late last night, I think, and I was wondering where this was going to fit. You know what? It wasn't a great episode in my opinion, but it was a good episode. It has Iron Fist. You can not recognize Iron Fist when you see the mask. But the rest of the episode was just kind of okay. That doesn't mean it's bad in any means. I just wasn't as entertained as I was with the previous episode. But that was going to be hard to top.
Is this your least favorite episode?
I think so. I think
it's
this is
mine
my
too.
least favorite episode.
And that really sucks, because going into this show, the thing I was most excited for was seeing Iron Fist again. That was what I was going in here for. And I like how this Iron Fist is allegedly Colin Wing's ancestor. I like that they do have that connection. I still want her to become the Iron Fist in the Netflix show, and maybe we'll still get that.
I just want her back.
Yeah, there's some rumors that she's coming back. We'll see. But that was my most anticipated moment, was getting Iron Fist. And yeah, besides Iron Fist, it kind of fell flat. I mean, I feel like the main character wasn't as engaging, and the story itself, I feel like, wasn't quite there. Like, if Iron Fist was removed from it and they just put like any other just like generic antagonist from China, then I don't think I would have cared whatsoever about this episode. I don't think it's anything bad about the episode, but I think it's just, as Edward said, it's just in comparison to the previous two, it just was lacking in, I guess, just the emotions. I didn't really feel much of the emotions that I felt in the first two episodes, but at least we got Iron Fist, and for me, that's what I wanted. Also in this episode, this is where I started to notice a few things about this show, and Edward and you in the comments, let me know if I'm crazy here. But this was the first episode I noticed where they took scenes from other Marvel projects, like almost like just the exact same in terms of like where characters are, they're all, and like where they, God, I'm trying to make this make sense, but fuck. Like, this was the first episode. It was right when they entered when Iron Fist entered the cafeteria, where it was the exact same scene as Into the Spider-Verse, down to where the characters are in the table arrangement. I can't be the only one that knows that,
yeah.
right?
No. I
honestly,
can see that.
And this is the first time I noticed it. There's another scene in episode 4 where, and I guess we'll get into it now, where in episode 4, the main character is trying to kill this futuristic Black Panther, and the scene and how they're posed mirrors the Infinity War scene. Like, exactly. Right? You have the character trying to pull off the glove, even though there really wasn't one, and you had the big guy behind the future Black Panther, just like how it was in Infinity War with Thanos. I'm not crazy there, right?
I don't think you are. No. I got the same vibes. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if there were scenes like that in the first two episodes, or if it just started there. I don't know why. Like, it's
no. I think it was.
It can't just. It's deliberate. It has to be deliberate.
Yeah, it has to be deliberate. But a lot of these things with Marvel are deliberate, and maybe they do it just to get the uproar with the fans. Maybe they do it just to get us talking, or maybe there's a purpose. I would prefer to think that there's a purpose to it.
Same.
Because
I hope there is.
So many of the Marvel things didn't lead anywhere.
Yeah.
And hopefully this does lead somewhere.
And that also
would be really cool.
That goes to my next thing, because in this episode, as we've seen with every single animated MCU project, we see the Watcher again in this episode. I don't know if it's just a reference to What If. I don't think it is, because this episode makes all of this canon in the MCU. So I don't think this is a What If.
This felt totally different from What If. Or at least I never got What If vibes from this.
Well, no, I get that. Yeah, sorry. I guess maybe let me re-explain it. Is that...
I understood what you meant.
Yeah, but it's not What If, but like... Because like in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, saw the Watcher in X-Men 97. Those are all different Earths. This one felt like the Marvel Earth. So it's weird that we have the Watcher here, and I still want to see something from that. I don't want it just to be just him watching. I want to see something with it. And this episode, besides all of that, was very surprising. I did not expect the Black Panther from the 2030s or 2300s, and I definitely did not expect the Horde. That threw me for a loop. I didn't know how to feel about that at first, but honestly, I kind of dug it. I liked it. It also reminded me a little bit of Wreck-It Ralph, which I thought was funny. But the Horde is so much fun. I mean, whenever you get like these hive mind aliens from space, it's always going to be fun. I really enjoyed it, and I loved how they tied it all together with the Killmonger connection at the very end. I loved that. I love the connections, and I loved how these entire stories are about legends and making your impact on history. And sometimes, and the whole message of it is, the ones that make the most impact usually aren't the stories that are told, and I dug it. I think this episode tied it really nicely together. During it, I really thought there was gonna be like more connectivity between them, but I'm pretty happy with how this ended. I don't think it needs a season 2. I doubt we're getting a season 2. It's a miniseries, but who knows? But I honestly found it to be really worthwhile, and majorly just because of this episode and how it tied together so well with everything going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need a season 2. If we get one, I'd be surprised. If it's better than this, or as good, good.
I still think it's needed.
No,
this wasn't needed,
yeah,
but it's really not needed now. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you thought about Eyes of Wakanda, and if you enjoy our Marvel content, you may enjoy our review for the most recent Fantastic Four First Steps movie.